Welcome to the latest episode of Branding the Experience, where we discuss ways how we can create environments where employees actually want to come to work and customers want to keep coming back. Hi, I'm Ken Bader, your host for Branding the Experience, and also your organizational culture and world-class service standard expert, here with our latest episode on Let Them Own the Experience. And by them, I'm talking about your staff, your employees, especially your frontline staff. And this has come to mind recently with my trip to San Diego. Those of you who may have listened to this week's Cool Culture Corner know that I had the distinct pleasure to spend some time with my wife and my parents, and we had a great time. We love San Diego. So many great places to go and so many things to see. And it's always a really friendly city, place we all enjoy getting together and hanging out in. And in Cool Culture Corner, I talked about what a great brand experience Lyft was. But want to talk about one of the restaurants we went to. I won't mention them by name, even though our experience, I would say, was probably about a 7 to a 7.5 out of 10. So certainly wasn't bad. Wasn't anything that they should be embarrassed about. But it could have easily been a 9 or even 10. And it was mid-afternoon, and it was in the Gaslamp District, and my parents and my wife and I walked in, and we decided, all right, we've been walking and seeing some things. Let's have a drink and some appetizers. And we sat at the bar. The bartender was really, really friendly, greeted us terrifically, talked about the menu. We had questions about the menu, helped us pick out a little snacky thing because we didn't want anything really big to weigh us down because it wasn't dinner time yet. But we really didn't have lunch, so we wanted just a little something. And she was very, very helpful. The ambiance was nice. It was a clean environment. The food was obviously very fresh and well made. So there was so many good things going for this experience that could have made it a 9 or 10. But the point of this particular episode is also to point out, how one little thing, even a black mark can really bring down the experience. My dad might even say that it was less than a 7, 7.5. He might even say that it was 6 or even 5, given how it ended. And it didn't end poorly. But my dad, who wanted to take us out, said, here, let me take care of this. And he put out a credit card and went to pay the bill. And our server ran the card, and it came back. And what she had done was made a mistake, and we all make mistakes. But the mistake that she made was that she charged my father's card for another person's bill, which was actually a lesser bill, probably by about 33%. And so my dad, not really understanding what was going on, was just in the process of signing it. The bartender noticed the mistake and came back and said, I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong, I ran the wrong check, give me that back and I'll fix it. And she went and fixed it and then came back with the proper check, which is fine. We're more than happy to pay for what we ate and drank. But then went on a diatribe and said, I also, here's another receipt for the refund. I voided it. It's going to be credited back probably within 24 hours. Now, none of us, including my dad, are destitute. So the $60 or so, wasn't going to be a hindrance to any of us if it was on hold. But, I remember, of the great experience. My dad, who isn't necessarily technologically advanced, kind of was taken aback and was a little bit irritated that she didn't get the first check right. And then she was kind of flippant and says, oh, it'll be fine. It'll refund and it'll void. And said, I had to do this because otherwise I'll get in trouble. And was thinking, all right, well, we didn't really need that diatribe. We didn't need to be made felt like, we didn't understand the void process. I certainly do, having been in the financial industry, and knew that it would be fine. But she could have handled. She didn't handle that poorly, but she could have handled that a little bit better. She could have said, I'm really sorry. It's when we do this, in the rare occasions, the void does come off in the next day, and it will be fine. If not, feel free to call us tomorrow or the next day, and we'll make sure that we take care of it. She could have given us a free drink. She might have given us maybe a $10 gift card, or something. Say, hey, you know what, I want to give you guys a dessert to share, just for messing that up. We probably would have said, thank you, we appreciate the gesture, but we're going to start walking and see some other sites in San Diego. But the gesture would have been nice, and it seemed like her biggest worry was not the experience that she created, because she had created or was part at least of creating a wonderful experience for the four of us. And then at the very end, it went and just didn't handle it properly. She didn't handle it poorly, but could have really, really kept it at a 9 or 10, even with the mistake. But it seemed like she was more worried about getting in trouble than maintaining what was a great experience for the customers. Now, maybe that's a culture issue at that particular restaurant. Maybe she had made that mistake before and didn't want to get in trouble. Who knows what the reasoning is? But my point is that one little thing can take a great experience and notch it down to good or even average or mediocre. And to make sure that the staff understand, hey, you know what, mistakes are going to happen, but rather than worrying about covering your own ass, because as long as you're sincere, we'll be okay with it, but make sure that the customer has the great experience. And it didn't seem like that was necessarily happening at the restaurant. Which brings me to one last point when it comes to experience. A lot of times, if you can start off great and end great, a couple of mistakes in there, could be overshadowed because you start off with a positive emotional bank account with your customer or client, and you end with a positive deposit or just simply a deposit into that emotional bank account that they'll remember as they're walking out. If the last thing that we remember is something that may have been even slightly negative, I won't say that I will refrain from going back to that particular place. Next time I'm in San Diego, if I happen to be near that particular restaurant and want a little food, I very, very well may walk in, because it certainly wasn't that bad. But that experience was always slightly a little bit tainted. And may actually, convince me to not necessarily say, if somebody's visiting San Diego, hey, check out that place, we had a great experience, it might not be top of mind. So much as I do when I do public speaking, while I want to have a perfect speech always and forever, amen, sometimes in the middle I make some mistakes, but I make sure that I start really, really strong and do my ever-living best to end really, really strong. Because those are the things that really make deposits and also make people remember you and the experience that you've given them. So, hope you had a good experience with me in this little discussion. And as always, I hope that you're branding the experience at a very high level for everybody you serve. Take care.
Now a word from our sponsor, Bader Training and Consulting. BTC is the creator of the B plus C plus S formula. Our clients that implement that formula increase their net income by 124% and grow their business by 17% on average. The best place to start working with Bader Training and Consulting is with our B plus C plus S audit. The service pinpoints issues as well as attributes of your business's unique brand, culture, and strategy. Learn more or sign up for a B plus C plus S audit at www.btcinc.net/BCS-audit.